Everything in Access has properties. Way back when we created our table fields, we saw that every field had properties like field length, caption, indexed, or required. Forms and the objects that we'll place onto our forms all have properties as well. In Forms, however, there are so many properties that we can modify and explore that they're organized into a tab listing called the Property Sheet. I'm going to create a new form in Design View by going to the Create tab and pressing Form Design in the Forms group. Then, on the far right of my Design tab, I'm going to turn on the Property Sheet here. I can resize the Property Sheet by clicking on the edge and dragging it open if I'd like more space. The Property Sheet houses everything that you can possibly change for every object on your form. Right now, we're looking at the properties for the entire form. It says so in this drop-down list here. I can use the drop-down to select other objects or areas of my form. Currently, the only two objects I have are the form itself and the detail section of the form, which is this middle area here. As we add objects to our form, this list will grow. Below that, you'll see that the properties are split into 5 tabs. The Format tab has all of our formatting options. For instance, our caption. That's what will appear at the tab on the top here. We've got the default view, which is how we're going to view our form. We've got properties for things like pictures, the width. We have got color and size and font options. All of that appears here in the Format tab. If you want to see the additional options, you can scroll down through this list, and you can see it's pretty long. The next tab is Data. The Data tab is how this form connects to its data source, where the records are coming from, and where they're going to. We can also set properties for filtering, or how to handle additions or deletions. The Events tab has all of the ways that we can trigger macros or Visual Basic routines, and you can see that there's a lot of ways that we can trigger these events. We can trigger an event when the font loads, for instance, or when you click on something, or when you double-click on something, or when the mouse clicks down, and another one when the mouse lifts up. All of these available options we can link to macros using the drop-down list here to choose things from our database. The Other tab has miscellaneous items, such as whether this is a pop-up form or a modal form. A pop-up form will float on top of other windows. A modal form will force you to interact with it before you can do anything else in the database. And finally, the All tab is a master list of all of the properties from the first 4 tabs. So if you don't remember which tab a specific property was in, you can come to the All tab and find it in this one long list. When we're done with the property sheet, we can either close it with the X button here or toggle it off with this button here on the ribbon. Some of the common properties that you'll want to change, such as font style or color, are also available through the ribbon tabs up here at the top. For instance, in this formatting group, we have font options here. However, the property sheet lists all of the available options, regardless of if they're common, useful, or obscure. It's definitely a long list, but getting familiar with its content can help you identify things that you'll want to modify in your forms.